what's up? It's Joe Ready from Rady's Rides. Of course, I'm back at Walker Ford here in sunny Clearwater, Florida, and we have a Performance Mustang GT showdown. What this whole video is going to compare is the 2019 Mustang GT in that Performance Pack 2 level option compared to the 2019 Mustang Bullitt. So let's talk a little bit about Mustang history. Mustang's been around since it was unveiled at the New York World's Fair back in 1964 and a half. Since then, it changed the whole car industry, created the pony car wars with the Chevy Camaro and the Pontiac Firebird, and to this day, just is still as true to the United States and America as apple pie and baseball. So is the Ford Mustang. And no matter who you are, whether you own one or not, everybody has a Mustang story. So let's talk about Mustang performance with the Performance Pack Level 2. Right off the bat, the one thing you should see drawing in those eyes is the large front splitter. On the Performance Pack 2, you can see this is your standard Mustang GT front splitter. They add the extra extension all the way across. That's going to provide extra downforce. It's also going to help get that downforce to give you better steering feel. Behind this radiator is, behind the grille is a larger radiator. So on the Performance Pack Level 2, because you're going to be doing more track days with this, they've enlarged the radiator, engine oil cooler, all those types of goodies to make sure that you get your optimum performance. Over to the Bullitt. When you see the front of the Bullitt, this is going back to that Steve McQueen movie that showcases his Mustang from back then. I love the open grille. So on the Bullitt, you're going to get a totally different open grille, no pony to speak of. You also have some nice chrome trim to mimic those old classic Mustangs. This one has a larger front lip spoiler from the Performance Pack Level 1. So when you come to Walker Ford to choose your Mustang, lots of different options. Performance Pack Level 1 has a little larger front spoiler, but you can see you do not have the extra extension like the Performance Pack 2 does. Another thing about this Bullitt, only two colors, the beautiful sparkling green or black. With the Mustang GT, you have a little bit more variety, but let's go ahead. It doesn't just stop here. This is where it starts. Let's go ahead and check out the sides and backs of these two performance ponies. All right, guys, it's time to check out the side and the back of this 2019 Mustang GT Performance Pack Level 2. Let's see where the money's being spent, because remember, Performance Pack 2 option, $6,500, but I'm telling you, you're getting a lot of bang for the buck. Right off the bat, that is worth the price of admission, or those wheels. Up front, it's a 19-inch wheel, 10.5 inches wide. At every corner of this car, it is sitting on 305s. And not only a 305 tire, but what better tire than the Michelin Pilot Cup 2s? Those tires are so gumball sticky that they're going to make sure that you can hit your apex every single time. Behind the 19-inch wheel, you can see the massive rotor there and those big 6-piston Brembo calipers. I like the flat black, works great with the gunmetal gray wheel, and that's going to make sure that every time you stop, this thing is going to stop on a dime. I really believe that that brake setup is going to stop time, believe it or not. Under the fenders, you have a special track-tuned Magnerized suspension. So that comes with that option box of the PP2. You get Magnerized included, track-tuned. Underneath there, you have thicker sway bars, front and rear. What that's going to allow is when you tip this into a turn, it's going to stay aircraft carrier level smooth as you go into that turn. As we go down the side, here's where you're going to see your standard Mustang GT affair. That 5.0 underneath the hood, such an iconic badge on an iconic car. This is unchanged from a Mustang GT, is you have the sill down here, really blends in perfectly with the front of the car and gives this thing a perfect look. I'm going to have Tom show you the backside of where the rubber meets the road on those Pilot Cup 2s. You can see not a lot of tread. This thing is set up for lightning fast laps at your local racetrack or autocross track. As we continue back down the rear, I'm gonna have Tom kind of show you the profile of this rear tire, how far it sticks out, because guess what? Up front, 10.5 inches, this is 11-inch wheel in the back. Like I said, that same super sticky Pilot Cup 2s, 305s, all four corners. Now let's finish it out back. For the Performance Pack Level 2, you have this nice, tasteful trunk lid spoiler, nice kick up, and then just like any other Mustang GT, I really love the wide rear end on these. Now this car does not have the active exhaust. That is an option. That's something I think I'm gonna zonk because it should come with the Performance Pack Level 2 box. But I love just how wide it is. You got your tri-bar logos, just so perfect with the taillights, the tri-bar taillights. I love with a reverse light up and a very tasteful rear diffuser. Let's go ahead and check out the side and the back of the Bullitt. All right guys, time to check out the side of the Bullitt. As we come around the corner here, here's where you're gonna see some separation. So with the Bullitt package, these are the wheels you get. You can't get these wheels on any other Mustang. I don't care what option you're choosing. It's a 19-inch wheel, and if you look, they're trying to mimic that torque thrust wheel from the Steve McQueen Bullitt movie. I like the style. I do like the brushed aluminum. I just wish they would have rounded these off a little bit more to really mimic that American racing wheel, torque thrust wheel style from the past. Same massive 6-piston Brembo calipers. I like how they're painted red, but I kind of would want those over here. The green with the red reminds me of Christmas. I guess that's okay, but you're definitely gonna get that awesome stopping capability. You do have an engine oil cooler underneath the hood there, and you do not get MagneRide standard with the Bullitt. That is an option box you need to check off. As we continue down the side, no badging, so no pony up front, no 5.0 badge on the side. As we continue, you can see the addition, just like on the nose, the chrome trim. I like it because it looks, go watch the movie. Have you watched that movie? You gotta see it. It's one of the best car chase scenes ever. Steve McQueen's Mustang has that beautiful chrome trim around the window, just like that. As we work our way back, very clean. That's the one thing about the Bullitt, is the lines are very clean, because when we get to the trunk, there's no trunk lid spoiler, not even a kick up, nothing. It's just totally clean. And then to wrap out the back, you do have the Bullitt unique badging, which I think that's one thing on the Performance Pack 1 and 2s. They should have a separate badge there. You get the Bullitt badge up here, and this comes with the active exhaust. Not only do you get the active exhaust standard with the Bullitt, they're also blacked out, which I think just makes it even blend in more with that rear diffuser. But if you're ready, I'm ready to pop the hoods on these two ponies. Let's go do it. All right guys, we got the hoods popped on these two ponies. One thing to point out is on both of these models, the heat extractors that you saw on the top of the hood at the beginning of the video, they are fully functional. But underneath the Performance Pack Level 2, that is that standard GT motor. So you do not get any extra horsepower. That's 460 horsepower, 420 foot-pounds of torque. This one, Performance Pack Level 2, I hope you know how to drive stick. I hope your father or your mother taught you when you were a kid, because you could only get the Performance Pack Level 2 with the 6-speed manual. You can see the massive strut tower brace, and underneath here is going to be that MagneRide suspension up front. Remember, you can option MagneRide on the Bullitt. The big zonk for me is this engine cover. They need to toast this, and also I think that this should have the same intake setup as the Bullitt, and that's what we're going to show off now. So as we transition past that notorious prop rod that everybody hates for the hoods, now here's the engine for the Bullitt. You could see just how much more you could see of the engine because you don't have a massive engine cover. Now, this intake plenum, straight off a Shelby GT350. I like the way Ford took the Powered by Ford logos and added that to cover up the fuel rails and whatnot. This one, just like I said, has your standard suspension option, and then you can see also the intake, the open air box from the GT350. Now, if you're wondering, is this all show and no go? No, guess what? You get the show and you get the go. This one has 480 horsepower, so 20 horsepower difference between the two. Now remember, when you're changing exhaust and intake, torque numbers are the same, 420 on both, but if you're ready, I'm ready to fire these two performance Mustangs up. right, guys, here we are inside the Mustang GT Performance Pack Level 2. This is how they come. You get them with cloth seats. Now, you can option leather or Recaros. My advice is at least go with the leather. These cloth seats, they're nice, they're comfortable, and you know what? They'll be good for track duty because they're actually lighter than leather seats. But you could actually get leather Recaros in this. You just got to check off the box. Let's go to the door panels. When you look at the door panel, you can see the cloth material on the door panel. The thing is, though, with the Mustangs, they use a lot of softer material than they did in the past. So that's really nice to see. As you transition inside, softer material. I love the dual cowl look that harks back from those early Mustangs. I wish they put a Performance Pack Level 2 badge here, because remember, that option is $6,500. As you come into the center stack, you have your additional oil pressure, vacuum, and then I'm glad they didn't give you the micro size tiny screen. They give you a nice size infotainment screen. You can control your AC. It's obviously touch screen, no navigation. As we pan down, here's your AC controls, and then you have the toggle switches, just like out of a P51 Mustang from World War II, that allows you to change the modes and steering feel and whatnot. And I also think it's cool that they use a metal engine start-stop button. Little tiny cubby with a USB. Here's that 6-speed transmission, very slick shifting. I wish that for this car, they gave us the Tremec out of the Shelby GT350. So I'm gonna zonk this because I want the Tremec, even though this is a pretty good transmission. Harder plastic in the center console area, but you got leather on the old-fashioned e-brake and a nice soft armrest that when you open it up, has a pretty good amount of storage. You have 12 volt, you have USB, and then, like I said, the seats, they're made out of cloth, but you know what? They're comfortable, and the material's got a look to it with some contrast stitching, and just the Mustang logo kind of ties it off. Now, if you're wondering what is MSRP, this one, the way it sits, is $44,000 MSRP, but I'm telling you, call Tracy at Walker Ford. They're moving these things out. Come on over to the business end, and I'll show you what's going on behind this Performance Pack Level 2. All right, guys, business end. You know what? I would like to see a little bit more for the Performance Pack Level 2. Different steering wheel would be a nice touch. It does just come with your standard gauges. So you have your analog speedometer, analog tachometer, and in the center you have that screen there. Like I said, you could go through your different drive modes, which is really nice. This does have line lock if you're gonna go drag race it and all that. But this car is perfect for the road course, which is really, really nice. That you can't adjust the steering feel selection in this particular Performance Pack Level 2 because of the different sway bars and whatnot. You do get electric bottom for both driver and passenger, but manual back. And I wish they would have gave us some aluminum pedals, for Pete's sakes. $6,500, I want an aluminum gas pedal, brake pedal, clutch, and dead pedal. Kind of smaller dead pedal. I would like to see that be a little wider just to give you the support, but overall, great overall driving position. Let's go check out the Bullitt. All right, guys, we're inside the 2019 Mustang Bullitt. Now, if you're wondering what's the price difference, you're looking at, like I said, MSRP for that Performance Pack 2, $44,000. MSRP for this one is around $50,000. You're not getting the MagneRide suspension, but you do get some other niceties. Now, the MagneRide suspension, I highly recommend because it's a $1,700 option, and it's gonna make your driving experience, whether you're tracking the car or not, so much better, but we'll show that to you in the drive portion of the video. Let's go to the door panels. So with the Bullitt, it's nice, comes standard with the leather. So I like the leather on the back. It's got that beautiful green contrast stitching. I know it's a little hard for Tom to pick up, but you can see that green contrast stitching. And I just like the touches of the silver, and it's real soft material at the top of the door, which is a nice touch. When we come inside the interior, that same dual cowl setup, this is what I was telling you about. The Bullitt has a different name plaque here where the chassis is numbered. I would like to see that in the Performance Pack 2. You do get your same oil pressure and vacuum, and then you have with the Bullitt the full navigation and everything with this. So that's really gonna play a big part. And this is so simple to use. You got your AC controls, everything else. With the leather seats, you do get heated and ventilated seats. You have the same wonderful switches across the bottom, that metal start-stop button, and then really here's the other big difference, this shift knob. Cue ball shift knob, just like on McQueen's Bullitt Mustang. Awesome to see, and it's really a great size and allows you to go through that 6-speed. My big zonk is going to be I want Tremec. I want Tremec underneath the center console, but unfortunately we don't have it. It's a little bit softer center console compared to the Performance Pack 2. When you get the leather and whatnot, they give you a little bit softer material. You got your cup holders, even with the e-brake, the leather, and then you got the green stitching on the armrest. Same great usability, just like on the Performance Pack Level 2. Why don't you come on over and we'll check out these seats. So look at these seats, they're ventilated. I love the stitching and I love the design. It almost reminds me of the seats in my dad's '69 GT350. But why don't you come sit over here with me on the business end. All right guys, the business end, let's see what you get with the Bullitt. So you get a nice sill badge here, letting you know the Bullitt. And if you ever wonder why they misspell it, that was Steve McQueen's character's last name was Bullitt, and it's not like the bullet that comes out of a gun. You have the electric bottoms like I showed you, just like in the Performance Pack 2. It would be nice for the back to also be electric assisted as well. Steering wheel, same exact wheel, different horn buttons. So you can see the Bullitt badge just like off the back of the car. That's the only, there's 3 places. Here, on the cowl, and out back it says Bullitt. But look what you get with the Bullitt. You get that beautiful 12-inch LCD display, and the best part is I love toggling through, going through sport. Look at how the tack changes. I absolutely love that. You go to track, boom, ready to rock and roll. Thank you, Ford. Yes, I gotta read the manual because we're taking it to the track. But lots of different information, all that great stuff on this car really sets it apart from the Performance Pack 2, but you can option these things into the Performance Pack 2. Of course, it's gonna drive the price up higher, and that's gonna be the difference, but same great seating position. I love these seats. I'm telling you, if you weren't going with Carl's, you gotta go with the leathers, but if you're ready, I'm ready to take these 2 ponies for a spin. Let's go do it. All right, guys, we're in the 2019 Performance Pack 2 Mustang GT, rolling out of Walker Ford in 2nd gear. Let me do a roll on. You really can feel that 460 horsepower, 420 foot-pounds of torque, and even though this gearbox is not the Tremec out of the GT350, even though I think it should be, it's still a very short throw, slick shifting 6-speed manual transmission. Remember, you can only get this car in a manual transmission, so hopefully your mom or dad taught you, because that's the only way you're going to be driving this one. Right off the bat, if you're wondering, well, hey, with all this race-tuned suspension, you know, underneath the car is a K-brace to stiffen up the whole frame from front to rear. Is this thing riding like a race car? Actually, no. You could feel it's a little stiffer, but because of the MagneRide suspension, adjusting every nanosecond, it really allows you to have a comfortable ride, even driving around just regular normal streets. If I was gonna check off another box for this particular model, I would go with the active exhaust. Remember, the active exhaust comes standard with the Bullitt Mustang. All right, guys, rolling on the throttle here, very smooth, not trying to attract any extra attention, but when you lay it down, I'm telling you, the 6-speed, so nice. The throttle, the way it picks up, and because it's a naturally aspirated engine, wonderful. Let me go in this right-hand bend here. Very nice. So smooth, so very smooth. And what I love about the Mustangs is the visibility. Looking out across the windshield, it's easy to see things, especially like a Florida Highway Patrol officer. As soon as I came around that corner, I saw him sitting there. So it's nice to have that visibility and not be hiding down in a bathtub like some other vehicles similar to the Mustang, but not like the Mustang. Overall though, as you can see, just driving around in some traffic here, workday traffic, very, very smooth, very capable. And that's what I really, really like about the Mustang, is that it really is a versatile vehicle, even when you have it set up like this one does with the Performance Pack 2 level option. All right guys, remember, with all 2019 Mustang GTs with the 6-speed, you get that auto rev match downshifting. just makes shifting so much smoother. Second gear, really smooth. Just the turn in this car is so responsive with those 305s, just so very responsive, and I really like the overall feel from front to back of this car. Now I know a lot of you have asked, do the 305s, do they kind of, you know, pull the wheel out of your hand and kind of follows maybe some of the ruts and stuff in the road? Not at all. Everything is rock stable, and I know a lot of it has to do with the MagneRide and just the way that the Ford engineers tuned the whole suspension package and just the whole chassis setup in this Performance Pack 2 Mustang. All right, now we're gonna go in this left-hand bend coming up, third gear, down to second on those Brembos. Turning is great. Look at it just bite from the front end all the way around. Rolling on throttle, apex. Really nice. Pull out of the turn, you're gone. This thing is unbelievable. The track level worthiness. Now, if I was gonna change something in this Performance Pack 2, it would be the addition of a diff cooler. A diff cooler is going to be so important if you're going to do lap after lap of heavy track driving. But if you have a beautiful curvy road around where you live, first of all, I want to move where you're at. Second of all, this thing would be a joy to drive on that curvy road. All right, guys, once again, second gear, on the brakes, turn in. Oh, this thing, I'm telling you, she just grips. She just grips. Coming out of the turn, roll on the throttle. Third gear, wonderful. This is what driving is all about. When you're a car enthusiast, this Mustang has been made for the ultimate enthusiast. And even if you're never gonna go see a track, to just have something like this that you can have fun when the road conditions are just right around where you live is perfect. But we're gonna go ahead, get back to Walker Ford, and we're gonna swap seats and get into that Bullitt Mustang and see really what the difference is like driving these two performance Mustangs. I'll see you in a split second. All right, guys, we're in the 2019 Bullitt Mustang. This thing, like I said, is gonna have all those appointments inside that make you feel like you're Steve McQueen, you're reliving that past history from that very famous movie. I automatically love the active exhaust. The sound of the active exhaust, I have it in sport mode. You really could hear the deeper rumble compared to the standard exhaust that was in the Performance Pack 2. Digital dash, let's talk about that a little bit. Like we showed earlier, you have the different ways to set up the tachometer. Right now, because I have it in track, the tachometer is solid all the way across the top. That's gonna give you a little bit more personality, usability with the dash setup compared to just your standard analog speedometer and tachometer. Other than that, it feels very much the same as the Performance Pack 2. This one coming with those leather seats, you want to check off that box. Right now we have the ventilated portions on, and it feels really nice on this warm Florida April day. But clutch, very smooth. What I did notice is that on the Bullitt, there's not as much travel between the clutch and the floor. It really is tight, and it's interesting how they have that difference. Now, rolling on throttle, very smooth. Just like in the Performance Pack 2, the power delivery is so smooth. Remember, this is gonna have an additional 20 horsepower over that Performance Pack 2. And I know that kind of doesn't make any sense, especially when the name of the option is Performance Pack, but the Bullitt did borrow the GT350 intake and the plenum and everything right from that Shelby GT350. So that's where you're noticing the difference. A great sound coming from the back of the car. Really enjoy driving these Mustangs. And even though this one doesn't have MagneRide, suspension is very taut and really you feel planted to the road. Let's go ahead. I'm gonna check out this left-hand bend here. Very nice feel from the front end. Roll on the throttle. just a really perfect muscle car. With these Mustangs, you could have that reliability of 21st century technology, but you really feel that tradition going back to the muscle car days in the 60s and early 70s. But just driving around on a highway, very smooth, seats are comfortable, great visibility, especially if you've been in a Camaro at any point in the recent generation. The visibility in these Mustangs is much better. And then of course you're gonna get tons of looks and stares because of that sparkling green paint and special wheels and whatnot on the Mustang Bullitt. All right guys, coming down, downshifting, second gear, turn in, really nice and stable. Even though you don't have those 305s up front, still very, very stable at the front of this Bullitt. And then once you're on the power, she goes. I tell you right now, if you get that Performance Pack 2 and you don't check off the active exhaust, there's something wrong with you. Because I'm telling you, the extra sound is worth every single dime when you step on that throttle and just hear all 480 horsepower from this Mustang Bullitt. But what I really love about what they've done with the Mustangs overall is they've just really increased the overall comfort. Let me shut up, I'm gonna go into this right-hand bend here. Third, second, nice turn in, very nice. Roll on the throttle, nice and smooth. All right guys, one more time before we head back to Walker Ford. Third gear, down in a second. Very smooth, good feedback. I'm gonna hit my apex right up here. Nice, look at how it just trails out. Great balanced car. And this is without the Performance Pack extra sticky tires. So yes, if I'm going to get a Mustang, I'm going Performance Pack 2 because I would want those extra wide tires for the stick. But you know what? If you want a car that you could drive every single day, just like that Performance Pack 2, but you're gonna get more livability out of those tires, the Bullitt Mustang is a great choice because those Michelin Pilot Sport 4S tires, as you can see, really hold the road well, and you're gonna get way better wear than those Pilot Cup 2 tires for sure. But we're gonna go ahead and head back to Walker Ford. All right guys, it's been a wonderful, wonderful day here at Walker Ford. The question is really yours. What are you gonna say the answer is? Do you wanna go track-ready Mustang GT, or do you want a Mustang GT that has that heart back to the old traditions of the Bullitt Mustang and the whole Steve McQueen mystique? But definitely, I gotta give a huge shout out to Frank Walker, Weston Walker, Tracy, Benji, Jason, Mark, Austin, everybody here. Denise, Greg is so supportive of Rady's Rides. So grateful to have them on board to showcase these amazing Ford products. If these are the types of comparisons you like to see on Rady's Rides, leave a comment in that comment section. If you're new to the channel and you're on your way out, hit that subscribe button. I promise you it's worthwhile coming back for more. If you are a subscriber, thank you. Thank you for being part of the Rady's Rides family. Check out all my different forms of social media. You know what they're called. All Rady's Rides original content all the time. Get yourself some merch. Click the link in the description. Takes you right to Spreadshirt. We got to give it up for Big Guns McGee. Next weekend, he's going to be doing some powerlifting. While he's powerlifting, he's also going to be doing some photos. I don't know how he's going to do it, but he's going to do it. Check him out on Instagram at Mosh Photos. So thank you, Tom, and good luck. And just like always, I'll see you on the next ride.